Nobody here? Nobody here? Hello? No. No, nothing much. A lot actually going on inside my psyche. I'm trying to. This is pressure inside of my brain. So I smoked hemp from the tobacco store. It was THC, THCA, and I hadn't done it. I haven't done it. It scared the crap out of me, and I felt like I was like in hell, burning in hell, like not like burning like fire, but like oh, I don't like to feel like that. You ever have like a messianic illusion that you feel that Christ, the center of the cosmos, is Jesus? Okay, and when you smoke DMT and marijuana, THC, DMT, or something else, mushrooms, some kind of psychedelic, you start to see that mystical. You just it starts to make you feel like you're normal again, almost like it's normalcy to comprehend that. It's almost like you're remembering and rediscovering the truth, you know. But we're blind to that. Normal day to day, they try to make us blind on purpose. Engulfed in anguish and feeling like you've sinned and your whole life is a muddled despair, which, you know, you don't see that though unless you're high on not just like opioids, not opiates. Opioids don't open you to see this kind of reality. THC will, DMT will, THC will, but it's like think about eternal. Yeah, just I don't know. And you start to read the Bible, and you read it from the. It's almost like you can understand the Bible a little bit clearer because you're thinking about the words and how the words are put together. It's like it's written out in such a way that I don't know. I'm just too smart for my own good. It also makes you feel like you're smarter than you are. It's, oh Jesus. Well, there is this heaven and hell. You've gotta. I actually had this. Yeah, the devil does play a huge trick on you. And I think We're all slaves down here, man. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't, like, we're all slaves of technology. I think has enslaved all of us. It's gonna be like the Terminator movies. I actually thought that I had a glimpse of the future. I had a glimpse of the future, like 200 years into the future. And I imagined a mech warrior machine, and it was like trying trying to get me to go inside of it, and it was like I was like a sun or a star, and my spirit was a star, and it wanted me to go inside of this machine, this war machine, and it was like the future. It was like a glimpse of like technology, and it was as if I was gonna be used. They're trying to use some people. This is very hush hush stuff. This is very hush hush stuff. They don't want you to spread this knowledge, but they're trying to create Supermen. They're already trying to do this to me with the courts. I got a DUI, and they were trying to do this to me with the courts. So it was like, but this is very spiritualist though. Like if you think about it from a spiritual standpoint, you can think about it this way. They want to have a power source to power their machinery, which is spooky. It's spooky. And this sounds like paranoid delusions. You think about like Star Trek though and stuff like that. Well, they didn't become robots, but yeah, it was like, are we becoming robots or are we like? I guess you could say gold from your spirit. I dream of seeing the Sentinel sometimes from the Matrix. I don't actually see this. It's not a hallucination per se. It's like a dream that I'm having while I'm awake. So it's like a daydream, and I see these figures in my mind. I'm not hallucinating. I'm not a hallucinator. I don't like see things. It's almost like there's an orb inside my soul, and you can see things through that sometimes. And sometimes you start to see these things, like octopuses and squid and stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about though. The breath, uh, society is a delusion, essentially. The fairy tale, and your archetype, you're being used. Your icon is being used as they're trying to. What you see? I bought this stuff from the gas station or the tobacco store, and what are you talking about this thing? It seduce my mind into it's not my mind, it's my body. So your body is energetic system inside of it, and the energetic system needs to be rewired to receive holy energy from God. So yeah, I don't know. The virus is the ego is a virus. The ego there has to be a certain amount of ego, in my opinion, in my book. You can't lose your whole entire ego because you were born in the image of God. You were born with the image of your parents, and it should have been clean, like through marriage. And so your essence that you took off should be like when you were like a child before you were indoctrinated and enslaved and instilled all these bad ideas into your mind. Um, all this nonsense by technology and stuff. So they talk about this egolessness or this ego as a disease. Now there is a certain disease of the ego through sin, through knowledge of good from evil. I really do think that's just a poison, is that through our knowledge or corrupt knowledge, we fell away into living with people who are in a fallen condition. We also can wreck our souls. So if we live with people who are decrepit and sinning, we do ourselves an injustice. But we all live with the dead. We're all living with the dead now. We've reached a point. It's a little bit. It's a little bit in the future. Not in the future, but just that point. It's just live among the. It's like, hey, when you're younger, there is a time. It's weird to me because it was like when I was young, I had a walk with church, and then I fell away from it, and that seemed like a very, very bad thing, very degrading thing to lapse from that connection with divine. Well, yeah, because I used to be very fearful and reverential to holy things, and I got mad with what happened. Got mad at everything with all the pain, and then I stopped going to communion, and it hurt. It messed me up. I started to get back into drinking and stuff, and doing narcotics, and what else? What else? Oh, you kind of lose that meaningfulness or the purpose of life. It's like, what's What was I gonna do? Oh, the Bible really denounces a lot of sin, and it's like bleach. It's like holy water oil for your eyes to read it. And but the thing about it is, when you're high reading the Bible, you like realize the standpoint, because it's written by holy men who already denounced the devil. They kicked the devil's butt, and you're sitting there with the devil at your neck, and you're like, damn, I feel really in the wrong. And there's no way that I'm going to reach the divine. Um, because when you're, because it says all these holy things. It's like these things that are, it's like, it's almost as if it's writing, okay, the beginning and the end, the book of Revelation. Think about the Revelation. Jesus is the Alpha and Omega. It has all these symbologies and these constructs about the written word. Like, oh, they wrote down. It's as if the people that wrote the books, they know, they're like God. You know, like they are God. And you gotta really treat it like that and be like, hey, this is literally God in a book. And you don't mess around with it. You know, you don't play with it. But in our day and age, it's just so hard to really live that. Well, everything is God. I'm not a Buddhist or anything, but everything belongs to God, and everything is made by God. Everything has a heart. So you have a heart, and everything in the world has a essence, which should be exuding certain radiance or certain fragrance. So I don't know. It's weird to think about. It's very weird, very very weird. I just thought about this for a second. I was like, what am I doing with the material world to ruin my relationships with other people or persons? How am I ruining reality by misappropriating nature or objects? Or it could be your relationship with anything. It could be you just don't really see it from the divine perspective. From God's perspective, God is total truth and honesty, and He's totally honest, and there's nothing dark at all about the truth, about the divine. And so, no, the book isn't the words. The words that you read, written from the perspective of the writers that wrote them, is encapsulate. It's very encapsulating. When like you start to feel very judged, you feel very, you feel like everything they wrote about was to sustain the church and society. It's as if they wrote the book. It's like it's weird to me. Can't really describe it to you. I was reading Daniel's book, how he was talking about how like God is like praised by nature and everything, and in the hymn of the like how uh you know everything in creation bless the Lord. Like how are you gonna it's almost like it's like the alpha and the omega. It's like everything. It's starting out from a standpoint, a root, and then it's like it's crazy to me. It just made me feel real crazy, real kooky. Like it made me feel really like condemned, kind of. It made me feel condemned because the writers, they very old. Just my favorite part about experiencing God's grace. It truth reveals the devil's delusions. It's just like, well, Isaiah says, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither." He says, "The high as the heavens are above the earth, are my thoughts," or something like that. But it's so crazy to me how the prophets reveal some aspect of truth, then it's really weird to me. And the Genesis, Genesis. I read somebody once interpreted it as the book of genes, Genesis, genes, which was just a little type, like a humanistic logic interpretation, but it kind of weird to me. This weird teacher, but the causes and the origins of things makes me um interested to try to think about that. I used to think about this, and I used to think about this about this is one thing to think about that hope might fix some people's thinking about God. Like, hey, nobody created him, so just to dwell on that idea is pretty mystic. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, no one created him, but just think about it this way: we're being created all the time, and this is the problem with society, with us, is the pollutions of the earth. They're polluting us, so we're allowing ourselves to be polluted. Which the Bible says, keep yourself from idols. The Bible says, don't lust. Don't commit. Don't be an idolater. What else does this say? Keep yourself unspotted from the world. Unspotted. Says a bunch of stuff about yourself in the love of God. It's really just like a warning. If you read the last books of the Bible, there's a ton of warnings about eschatological warnings about Yeah, right. Existing. How do you uproot regret and toxic shame? Just no. Try to you know, meet some good people or something. I don't know. I think the only way you can be saved is being around holy, good people. That's the truth. Favorite toxic shame is go to church and go kiss an icon and take the Eucharist if you feel like you're worthy enough, and go to confession and you could have a crucifixion um experience of like Jesus was nailed to a cross. I just feel like that says a lot because I think we all want to move around and be as free as we want to, but it's like one day, what if you lose your mobility and you can't move and you're stuck and your wheel is being broken. Imagine that. Just think about the mystery of Jesus and that he the way that he showed us. Just think about your arms and your legs. Can a demon be using your arm? A demon could be hiding inside your flesh, okay, and con- con- controlling you or acting like it's using you as his instrument. And you're doing things in the physical world, and you think it's just you doing your thing, but actually you're possessed by a monster, and you have to get rid of the monster. And you have to realize that you're being possessed, and you have to exorcise the devil. So sometimes I feel like I can't. Sometimes I feel like moving my body does more harm. So I'll just sit there. I'll just sit there. Because God doesn't like violence. Like people that we don't realize it what we're doing in society. Like we don't realize what we do with our flesh. It just our worldly things that we do on a day-to-day basis. It could be anything. I'm not saying just shut down and just like not do anything. I'm just saying every little thing we do is like one day we're gonna die, and our body we're not gonna be able to move our bodies, and our bodies won't move at all. And we won't move at all. There'll be no more movements at all. Because there's so much energy contained. It's like in our body, like in my body at least. There's all this force and this electric energy and this force, and you don't really perceive that. You could be like somebody could be hooking up a electric cable to your brain or something, and every time you know, I'm not trying to freak anybody out. It's not living in a movie or something. I'm not trying to make people live in a movie like the Matrix or something. But it could be like demons could be harvesting us, and the only way to not be harvested is a crucifix. So having your hands and your feet nailed not being able to move. And some of the pastors will strike the congregation, and they'll fall down, paralyzed. They'll fall down. That's what happens when holiness enters you. The devil that's controlling your limbic system and your body, that wants to control you, will freeze up and die in a sense. This is what you want, what you need to happen. Sometimes you need to have a crucifixion encounter to have the grace enter you. So to give yourself up, just to let yourself um, be like paralyzed almost, like your body movements. Like, hey, God is looking at our heart and what we're doing. What are we doing? What are we saying? Speaking for a good cause. Like, as an example, St. Maximus says, God looks at us for the reason we say things. We do it for His will. You know, He really does. He really does actually do that. You don't actually understand this, but God actually is watching us, and He's looking at the reasons for us to do even anything, like good or bad or anything neutral. And He's literally, like, the marijuana made me see this, like, see the truth, like, of this. And you see this, it was like, yeah, the higher power really cares about the aspect of charity and stuff like that, and the way we treat things. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. No, it doesn't really make sense. I know it doesn't really make any sense, but they said God is very humble, and so um, what was I gonna do? Yeah, pride. Like I was saying earlier, you could take a cup of water, and it could be like an arrogant thing to do. It may not seem arrogant at all. But hey, this is God's world you're living in, and yeah. Not trying to make anybody feel like we're not living in it. So like we're not living in like a world where, like, you know, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to still paranoia in other people, but you know, people are just blind to the reality. We live in a reality. There's a certain reality to live in, and very easy to not apprehend what that is. Because of pride, because of stuff like that, and whatever. Mm. Well, your life isn't your own life, so your life isn't yours, and everything you do. It's like when I was on the THC, it was like everything I was doing came from myself, and it's everything I was speaking, and so I was being entangled in my own mind. That makes any sense. As if my mind was a noose, and it was roping myself with it. And it was like a snake or a rope. And everything that came out of my mouth, something dark and self-condemning. Everything I was thinking about, it was like revelation of horrors, you know, to so it's almost like there was a second being inside of us, like the like you know you gotta really fight your demons. You have some really bad demons, and pride to me is related to the apprehending the creation, usurping control and power. It could be over any little minute thing. It could be over a little pencil or pen. You could see power. You could have this lust. There could be a certain lust in anything that you do physically or mentally. It could be physically. When the knowledge of good, the Garden of Eden, they took a tree, okay, and they like stole from God. It was like, hey, this is our world, our material existence turns into their. I don't know. It sounds retarded. Yeah, but Zach, if you reach down into like the um the depths of that, you start to see that you could just talk about that, but just to have that. Yeah, exactly. Pride of thinking you're entitled to owning a book at all, or you know, having a yeah, I don't know, spooky stuff. I'm a very spooky man. But the problem is that because of the demons, they idolize everything. So, like I was saying earlier, you could go up to get a glass of water, but if it's something non spiritual inside of you that wants you to do that activity, then you should. I don't know. Because there's always going to be something non spiritual inside of you, like a demon. They they want to fill a heart with a bunch of jargon. So it's like you're just living in a simulation to them, or something. It's like you're in a simulation. I don't know. I've reached a point where I just feel like, yeah, the rep easier saying the solution instead of applying them. I can apply the information I have. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing because I'm starting to see people underneath my refrigerator. I don't know. I don't know if I'm hallucinating or what or not. What's going on? There's somebody underneath there. Somebody under my refrigerator. I was just thinking. I was like, "What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing?" Yeah, like this thing about the conscious awareness and how God doesn't like violence and anger drives away the spirit more than anything, I think. So anything loud and drastic, that's phrenias and franticness. That's not what the spirit requires. And we think we're doing God's service by acting in these manners. Yeah, chaos. This is not divine. That's not the you know. It's very easy to fall into that though. That's a fallenness. That's where you fall. And Wisdom of Sirach says that. If you've ever read the Wisdom of Sirach, it says that when when somebody reaches a point of anger, that's not good. Really not. Not good. I mean, I'm probably gonna go though. It's nice talking to everybody. I just don't know what to talk about. Use it in peace. What's Mert? Mirth? What is it? Stomach. I just don't think this world is for birth. It's not meant to be happy. I mean, oh yeah, occasionally. I just think I just don't know. No, that's for scary people. Oh, I want to show you this icon that I got. This guy, this altar boy, gave me this icon. After the Bible class, and I want to show it to you because it's beautiful. It's very pretty. It is the the light giver icon of Christ and the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light shall have the light of life. 1990, which is the year I was born. Holy Transfiguration Monastery. I really like this style. Small though. Very unique. I don't know why I gave it what. I'm gonna go. Yeah. Wait, hold on a minute. What eternal revelations has THC shown to me? Dominator said. Um, that the material world around me is trying to devour us. No, essentially, well, yeah, actually, in a sense, I was just seeing like the spiritual side of the material world and the way in which the effects that I've had on the material world, the way that it's affected my spirituality, my eternal destination, destiny, and just how, and also other things such as, Jesus says I'm the Alpha and the Omega. Well, and he created all things, and it makes you see that reality as you're supposed to be stamped with his logo, with the logos, and just really difficult to get into that. Like in a pristine sense to like acquire that, so that you don't you just I don't know, man. Marijuana, it's almost like marijuana. Like it's like you're in a marriage with reality, and you have to make it pure, but it's not. So you're damned. You're cursed. You're in a curse. So it's like, hey, you're in a curse, but you're supposed to go on in some kind of reality for eternity, forever with God, you know. But it's like we're all gonna go back to dying because nobody's worth. Revelation says a lot of things, and it's really hard to go to heaven and stuff like that. So, it's making me feel really condemned. It's making me feel real condemned. I just see me as a more of a communal existence with the Creator, and so everything is being judged by God, and so we're. It's more like God's judging us on the standpoint of charity, and kindness, and charity, and so everything that you've done to hurt that, to break that, you're having to you're having to see that you're being judged by your own conscience, which was where God is. So if God's in the mind and you start to see reality, you start to see these things when you're on THC. At least I do. Unless you've gone past that. So you start to see how selfish you are, basically. How selfless God's so very selfless and giving. God's very selfless and he's better than everything, and we're like not like shouldn't even be messing around with God's things, and it's just so easy to get. It's so easy to misappropriate. It's like you're just like missing the mark. Well, yeah, I mean, marijuana, marijuana. It's what it sounds like. Marijuana. Sounds like, sounds like what it sounds like. Weird, ain't it? It's real weird. Weird as hell. Weird as heck. Oh yeah, it's just like old biblical stuff, man. It's like, hey, one day you're gonna be asking God if you're gonna be asking, like you're in trouble. I'm gonna go though now. Nice talking to you.